So, Bishop, you are one of the most respected people in all of Oakland. I mean, you are an icon there. And this is an extraordinary thing for you to come out, and I'll just tell the viewers in part, it calls for a state of emergency in Oakland. It blames failed leadership, including the movement to defund the police, the DA's unwillingness to charge and prosecute people who murder, the proliferation of anti-police rhetoric, saying that all of that has created a heyday for Oakland criminals. So why did you feel the need to write this letter?
Well, because it's very obvious that there was no real focus from the leaders of the city on public safety. And I'm here because I have a large membership at the Acts Full Gospel Church in Oakland, and our members didn't feel safe. They're not coming out to night services. The merchants that I know, their businesses are being robbed, and people are breaking into the cars while the people are trying to go and shop. And the whole thing has presented such an environment of danger and lawlessness that actually the citizens do not feel safe. So because to me, the citizens didn't have a voice, and if they did, no one was really listening to them about public safety being a priority. So coming together with Cynthia Adams, the president of the Oakland chapter of the NAACP, we wrote the letter to bring more awareness to the fact that, hey, we're citizens here. We're taxpayers. We live in this city. We demand to have safety and feel protected in our city that we love so well. And we don't seem to be getting that type of treatment. And this is the whole reason for the letter. It's all centered around public safety.
Do you feel like the defund the police movement has hurt the safety and well-being of Oakland residents?
Well, when it comes down to defunding the police, and you take $18 million from the police department, and then the citizens are calling 911 and put on hold for 35 and 45 minutes when they have a crisis going on in the city, can't get a response, can't get through the police, can't get the protection that they need from the citizens. And they blame it on the fact that they don't have enough money in their budget to pay for 911 people and personnel to take those complaints and whatnot and fill them out to the officers. And then the other part is we don't have enough police officers to police the city. I think we have around 700 police officers when we really need a minimum of 1,200 officers to patrol and police the city. So the feeling of being unprotected, the feeling of being unsafe. And one of the things that I was saying was that you force the citizens to pick up guns and begin to protect themselves, which is going to be a real terrible thing to have.
It's already begun, Bishop. And in the last week alone, we've seen an elderly woman return fire to a home invader. And we're seeing an increasing number of people who are self-helping as victims of crime. I wanted to point out one thing about defund, because I think this is the part of the nuance that is missed in the national conversation, Megyn, and that's this. The NAACP's convention was in Boston, as you know. We just got back. The city of Boston is very similar to Oakland. First-generation Asian-American mayor, fully progressive city council. They have an active defund movement. Here's where the difference is. Boston has a population of 666,000 people. Oakland has a population of 450,000 people. As Bishop just said, we have slightly over 700 officers. Boston has over 2,200 officers. So Boston, if you scale it, we would be over our 1,200, and we could talk about defunding or allocating law enforcement services to places that actually do impact neighborhoods and get ahead of the violent crime. But when you don't have a baseline of public safety, and you have elected officials who are playing politics with public safety, saying things like crime is down. If you look at Oakland's political discourse, we have elected officials quoting several times as recent as 2 weeks ago that crime's down. Then we get the latest reports that crime is up and everyone's befuddled. So we all know that crime is up. We're living through it. So I think it's time that they start listening to the neighbors, especially the elders who are expressing high amounts of distress of their personal safety, and do something urgently to restore that confidence in the voters.
Well, I know, Seneca, you tweeted out this video of gunshots, and you were saying to the mayor, who I guess she's out of town right now, but you tweeted out, a quiet Oakland street erupts in gunfire. The Oakland mayor may want to get back from Asia soon while she still has a city to return to. One person shot. We've got the video. Let's show it just so that people can see what you're dealing with. My gosh. Seneca, that has the look of something you'd see in the old Wild West.
Well, that's exactly what we think. We're in the wild, wild west, especially in the city of Oakland. And so 75, we can name a lot of incidents recently that's just happened. We're not talking about years ago. We're talking about what's happening right now. A 75-year-old woman had a home invasion. They tried to kick in her front door. She was smart enough to grab her 357 Magnum and start shooting at them as they were trying to break in on her. And then they began to open fire on her home, shooting 20 to 30 bullets into this woman's house. I guess they thought she was going to be easy pickings, but she fooled them. But what I'm concerned about, and they passed out a big notice to the thieves in that area, that if you come here, we have our guns to take care of you. Now, what kind of a city is that when everybody's got a gun? If it's not Dodge City and Wyatt Earp's day, I don't know what it is. So we're calling together for the police to come together, the law enforcement agencies to come together to devise a plan to work on the crime, the lawlessness that's going on too long. I get it where it came from, Megyn. It came from the COVID-19 epidemic. And because when COVID hit, San Quentin had an outbreak of COVID and the prisoners were dying and whatnot, somebody up top passed the law to let all the prisoners out so they don't die on our dime. And we pay for those lawsuits that their families are having because we didn't protect those inmates. But I don't think they came back after COVID's main thrust was over and down. I don't think they came back to reestablish the law, for those criminals. And that's why they're able to go in the stores and just grab stuff because they don't want to lock them up. And it was because of the COVID epidemic. We're not having that right now, but it's still the same the way it was when it was in COVID, when we were in the COVID crisis. So I think that's probably the beginning, the genesis of what we're looking at right now.
This summer, big box retailers are seeking a massive big government handout from Congress, paid for by consumers, smaller financial institutions, community banks, and local credit unions. That's according to the Electronics Payment Coalition, a sponsor of today's episode. It's called the Credit Card Competition Act, aka the Big Box Bill. Mega retailers are in favor of it, but the Electronics Payments Coalition is not. They say this big box bill would actually transfer billions from consumers to retailers through eliminating popular credit card rewards programs, weakening cybersecurity protections, and reducing overall access to credit for people who need it the most. You can visit stopthebigboxbaitandswitch.com to learn more. That's stopthebigboxbaitandswitch.com. The link is in the description. Learn more, and if you want to help them, tell your legislator to stand up to the retail giants and to support consumers. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.